There's a special kind of quiet that I remember from Ramadan in the 1980s. It wasn't the silence of emptiness, but a silence full of anticipation, full of peace. The world outside our home would be rushing along, but inside, time seemed to slow down. The days were long, especially for a kid, but they were filled with a unique sense of purpose that you couldn't find anywhere else. I remember waking up before dawn, the house still dark, the air cool. The smell of my mom cooking suhoor, the pre-dawn meal, is something that stayed with me forever. It was simple food, but it felt like the most important meal of the day. My dad would quietly read the Quran, his voice a low, comforting hum that filled the room. We'd eat together, a small family unit preparing for the day of fasting ahead. There was a shared understanding, a quiet solidarity in that pre-dawn ritual. Then, the sun would rise and the day would begin. School felt different during Ramadan. My friends and I, we were all in it together. We'd talk about what our moms were making for iftar, the meal to break the fast. We weren't just hungry, we were learning patience, learning to appreciate the blessings we often took for granted. The afternoons felt the longest. I'd watch the clock, the hands moving so slowly, and the scent of cooking would start to drift from the kitchen again. That was the signal. Iftar was coming. My mom, my aunts, my grandmother, they would all be in the kitchen. A whirlwind of activity. Chopping, stirring, frying. The sounds and smells were pure magic. It wasn't just about preparing food. It was an act of love, a communal effort to create a feast for the family. When the call to prayer finally announced it was time to break the fast, the first sip of water was the most refreshing thing in the world, and that first date, it was pure sweetness. The table would be laden with food. Samosas, pakoras, fruit chaat, and a big jug of roux afsa, that bright red, sweet drink. But the food was almost secondary to the feeling of being together. My uncles, aunts, and cousins would all gather at our house. The room would be buzzing with laughter and stories. It was a time for connection, for strengthening family bonds. We weren't just sharing a meal, we were sharing our lives. It was in those moments, surrounded by the people I loved most, that I truly understood the meaning of community. After iftar, we'd all head to the mosque for the night prayers, the Taraweeh. The streets would be alive with families walking together, all heading in the same direction. The mosque itself was a sight to behold, filled to capacity, with people spilling out into the courtyards. Standing shoulder to shoulder with hundreds of others, a sea of people from all walks of life, all united in worship, was incredibly powerful. You felt like you were part of something much bigger than yourself. There was no distinction between rich or poor, old or young. We were all just servants of God, standing together in prayer. It was a profound lesson in humility and unity. Charity was another huge part of Ramadan back then. I remember my parents carefully putting aside money for zakat, the obligatory charity. They taught us the importance of giving back, of looking after those less fortunate. We'd help pack food parcels for neighbors and distribute them in the community. It wasn't a grand gesture, just simple acts of kindness. Seeing the smiles on people's faces, the gratitude in their eyes, taught me more about compassion than any book ever could. It was about building a community where everyone looked out for one another. That spirit of generosity and care is what made Ramadan so special. It wasn't just about abstaining from food and drink. It was about cleansing the soul, about becoming a better, more compassionate person. Those memories from the 80s are more than just nostalgia. They are the foundation of my faith and my understanding of what it means to be part of a community. Thank you for letting me share this with you. Please consider subscribing for more reflections.